Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's that special time once again for the JMOR Tech Talk Show, and it will be airing live momentarily. This is that place to ask those special questions about PCs, technologies, with your computer, iPhone, and those smart devices designed to work at home and in the office that's supposed to make life easier. We welcome your questions tonight. And please help me welcome the CEO and founder of the JMOR Connection, Inc. and the star of tonight's show, Mr. John C. Morley. Check us out more at JMOR.com. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is actually our first podcast, live radio show here at the JMOR Tech Talk Show. We have a great show planned for you tonight. You know, when I was thinking about what we should talk about, a lot of things were coming through to my mind. And the first thing I wanted to tell you about was, let's talk about Windows 10, right? I mean, how many of you out there have actually installed Windows 10? All right, I'm sorry, I feel sorry for you guys. But unfortunately, Windows 10 is where Microsoft's trying to push right now. And with everything happening in our world, they're pushing Windows 10. I'll be honest why they're pushing it. It's so they can make some more money. Windows 10 isn't really that great, but let's not talk so much about that it's not great. Let's talk about it's something that's premature. I mean, it's probably going to be okay in a little while, and yes, it's better than Windows Millennium, which you saw many years ago, so Microsoft's doing a better job, so I will give them a kudos there. However, I'm not taking my personal computer or my computer at work and going to throw Windows 10 on it. I'm sorry. I just have better things to do with my time, and I'm so tired with getting patches on Thursday and then on Tuesday having to have more problems. I'm sure you're having those same challenges. We welcome calls tonight if you guys have questions about Windows 10. You know, the other thing about Windows 10 is that it's the big hype, right? It's that big buzz, and everyone out there is actually deciding that they want to choose Windows 10. But there's actually something that really comes to play, and it's something I like to call immediate gratification versus delayed gratification. Now, how many of you ever heard of immediate versus delayed gratification? All right, we've got a few of our listeners out there. Now, remember, we've also got our chat room open as well, so you can join us right here at jmor.com. Click on the live show area, and I am actually talking to different people in the chat room that will be happy to call us live, and we can talk to them, but you can talk to myself and some of the other people here that are in the chat room. We do have a few people right now. But what I'd like to do is ask you a question. If I asked you, what is delayed gratification? Now, keep in mind, folks, this is a family and it's a G show. So just keep that in mind. It's a G show. Delayed gratification versus immediate gratification. What does it mean when I talk about those things? Well, I know you're probably confused because delayed gratification means we're going to do something for a payoff that's probably going to result in the future. Immediate gratification is actually a payoff for something that we're going to experience now. Whether we're talking about technology or people, there are only two reasons that we either make a decision to either take action or not. It's really simple. In life, we all want to feel good, right? I mean, who out there doesn't want to feel good, right? We all want to feel good. So thus, if something makes us feel good inside, we want to do it. If something makes us feel bad, then we want to avoid whatever that is, like a 10-foot pole or a plague. It's pretty simple, right? Well, not quite, because we also have something called immediate gratification and delayed gratification. Now, immediate gratification has to deal with something that if we choose to do something, we're actually going to get pleasure or the benefits for what we're doing right now. That's immediate gratification. For example, if we were to eat a chocolate cake and eat that cake right now, we would be experiencing immediate gratification, right? We're going to get the benefits and the enjoyment of eating that wonderful chocolate or vanilla or cream cake or lemon cake or butterscotch or whatever kind of cake you want, or chocolate cookies if you don't like cake, or maybe some kind of pastry. I'm not sure. But the point is, or maybe some food. but you're going to experience that actual feeling or that immediate gratification right now. You're not going to have to wait till later. Now, delayed gratification is something completely different. What that means is that you're going to choose to do something or abstain from doing something because you're hoping down the road there's going to be a better payoff. And actually there is. You see, immediate gratification gives us the payoff now. Delayed gratification will give us the payoff later. If I choose to not eat that chocolate cake or not eat those cookies or not eat those fried foods every single day, then I am actually going to experience delayed gratification. I'm probably going to lose weight. I'm going to be healthier. My body's going to have more energy. Now, those talking about Windows 10 and abstaining from that have to go through this similar conundrum, which is, do we take the immediate gratification and go right to Windows 10 because we know it's going to make us feel good because we have the latest technology? Or do we just kind of sit back and say, all right, it's probably not as good as everybody's making it seem. I'm going to wait. And that would be delayed gratification. You're going to wait for something better. If you choose to wait, two things are going to happen. One, you're not going to have to go through any of the challenges that I spoke about with being able to possibly downgrade back to your Windows 8 or your Windows 7 because you unfortunately decided to jump on that bandwagon and upgrade to Windows 10. However, if you did choose to jump on that bandwagon and upgrade to Windows 10, you're going to have some challenges. And those challenges are really simple. You're going to wish that you actually waited because you're going to talk to some of your friends and say, gee, why didn't I wait? When you talk to them about all the pain and all the suffering that they've gone through and all of the annoying hours of frustration because drivers don't work and lots of other things that we talked about, you are actually a victim of not waiting for delayed gratification. You thought the immediate gratification would be better. Just like the person that wants the chocolate cake, they actually decide that they're not going to wait. So the moral of the whole story is this. In life or technology, sometimes we have to choose to abstain from something because waiting for something just a little bit longer, it might be 5 minutes, it might be an hour, it might be a day, it might be a week, it might be a month. I can't tell you the time frame. It'll actually make you feel better because you waited, because what you waited is actually going to be that much more fruitful and you're going to enjoy it that much more. So that's my spiel on immediate versus delayed gratification. And you can apply it to so many things in life. And I hope you found this part of our show very informing. So when we talk about immediate versus delayed gratification, it's pretty obvious, okay? But when we talk about Windows 10, and we talk about, why we want to wait. I mean, let's face it. A lot of us, we're all kids at heart, right? I mean, whether you're 5 years old, whether you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, or you're 100 years old, we're kids at heart. And we like technology. I mean, that's kind of like the passion that we're in. And when you have that kind of passion, you are just so into getting the latest and greatest. I mean, not to go off on a whole separate tangent here, but I know, like with my car, I love to get the latest and greatest gadgets. I mean, I don't actually go for the cheapest gadgets, but I go for the gadgets that are a little bit more money and also the ones that are actually going to work. Yeah, the ones that are half price or that are made as a knockoff don't tend to work very well. And the same thing happens with some of us out there. I know a lot of us listening tonight. I see many skiers actually from Hunter actually following us tonight on the board. Thanks, guys. It's right. I mean, you guys are going to spend a few extra bucks. I mean, do you spend for the $700 boot? Do you spend for the $900 boot? Or do you spend the $1,400 and get that boot that's foam injected, right? I mean, what's really important? So if you can delay gratification and understand that the payoff is going to be better, I thought I'd give you another example. How many of us here make New Year's Eve or resolution goals for the new year, right? Did you do that? I know I did that. So I know a lot of us want to lose weight. That's possibly one thing, or maintain a certain weight. The other thing that we want to do, maybe we want to enhance our career, or maybe we want to change a relationship status, okay? All these things, right? So let's take it from that point because that's a popular one. If we just jump jump into something because it looks good today and we want it today, I got to be honest with you. That's immediate gratification. We've gotten the pleasure, and there may be no payout for us or anybody else down the road. There may just be misery. But when you wait and you have that delayed gratification, you have a chance to process certain pieces of information. You have a chance to understand communication between other people because, as we've said before, communication is a two-way street. If one person is talking, there is no communication. There has to be a talker and a listener. And for great communication, there's always a talker on one end, a listener on the other end, and then there's a listener on my end and a talker on the other end. I was once told this. We were given 2 ears. You know why? We were told to listen more than we speak. So we have to pay attention to these things. So just understanding that making a choice that is not what the rest of the world is choosing to do is actually delayed gratification. And there are so many things that you can actually achieve by choosing to delay the gratification for something down the road. So my 2 cents on Windows 10 is this. You know, I've had Windows 10 for quite a while. Fortunately or unfortunately, our office gets some of the latest and greatest, or I should say worst releases that are actually out there. But we get them. And we get to play around with them. And we had Windows 10 for quite a while. I'm just going to tell you why I don't like it. I'm going to shoot straight off the cuff. Upgrade problems. Many things you have don't work. The user interface, it is so doggone clumsy. It's not even funny, how clumsy it actually is. So I don't know what else you could think of, but there's also 2 places to configure settings. It's very confusing. There's OneDrive sync problems. Microsoft's Edge is so horrible. Don't even get me started on that right now. The privacy concerns with Windows 10, if you enable Cortana, you're just writing yourself a check to just open up your personal information to the world. I mean, what happens is the way it's configured is great. The problem is by enabling Cortana, the rest of the world actually will learn more about you, and those third-party people actually buy these lists. Yeah, that's what happens. So disable Cortana. That's my first thing if you really are set on Windows 10. Did I forget to mention one of the most important things? I bet you're trying to use Windows 10 in a business environment. Don't even tell me you're trying to do that. It is a complete disaster. Now, I'm not here to give you how to get in or how to hack things. That's not what our show's about because we are all about security. But let's just say don't use Windows 10 in a business environment. You're causing yourself a security nightmare. So why are you doing it? And whatever you folks do me a favor. Please, please, please do not get tricked into thinking that you have a Microsoft account and that you have to have one. You actually do not need one of those. So, let's just get with it because Microsoft is fooling you to set up this account so they can track information. It can be sold to other parties, and let's be realistic about it. These people are not really being honest, and they don't really have the integrity that I think you and I would want. So let's think about all these things before we talk about really harnessing and having Windows 10. I don't want to have a privacy concern issue. I don't want to have an engine that's operating on only 2 cylinders when it should have a V6 or be a V8. That's really important. And, this is something you need to understand, especially when we're talking about technology. We have to be concerned about not only the technology, but what's actually happening. And it looks like it's just about time for a word from our sponsor, and I will be right back after this short message.
For IT services and data destruction, the JMOR connection should be your direction. Engineer technology to grow your business. Our custom solutions are at your service. JMOR should be your direction. The JMOR connection.
So for all your IT technology and computer needs, please check out the JMOR Connection. You can visit them at JMOR.com. I understand they're actually open to take your calls, and they can chat with you live right now 24 hours a day. All you have to do is go to JMOR.com, doesn't matter whether it's uppercase, lowercase, and you can actually talk to a friendly representative that can help you schedule to take care of your technology needs. Thank you, JMOR. So back on Windows 10, I could talk about Windows 10 literally, for days. But I just want to get you guys some really important information and let you see that the reason I'm not so into Windows 10 is pretty easy. And it's because it doesn't have a solid foundation. Would you buy a house that actually had a bad foundation? It has great walls, but it doesn't have the right structure, the right concrete. Or let's take a house in South Jersey. Would you buy a house that's supposed to be on pilings, and they decided to put it up on spread footings because they saved a little bit of money? I'd be a little leery about that. So are a lot of other people buying houses down there. So we have to be concerned about two things. One, we have to make sure that the technology we're choosing has a strong, reliable, trustworthy foundation, not just to us, but to our industry. And I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Windows 10 has not demonstrated one bit of that in any way, shape, or form. I'm not here to lie to you. I actually, to be honest with you, would actually get compensated money for telling people that Windows 10 is better. I'm not here to lie to you. I'm here to give you the straight truth. Now, some of you may want me to BS you. Well, I'm not going to do that. That's not what we do at this show. I tell you what's good, what's bad, what's indifferent. I give you my personal opinion. I give you my professional opinion. I don't give you what you want to hear. I give you what's real. And if you can handle that, I'm sorry. I know there's a few people crying in the background. I feel really bad about that. But, you need to get over it, okay? It's the best thing I can tell you. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. So the question comes to me all the time is this. Unfortunately, I installed Windows 10, right? I feel so sorry for you. You installed Windows 10. And you asked me the question is, if I upgraded to Windows 10 within a certain period of time, will I be able to go back easily to Windows 7, 32-bit, 64-bit, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, and for those of you understanding 3264, not to get off a tangent here, but a system that is 32-bit has a maximum ability to address memory at 4 gigs. I don't care if your hardware can support more. If you have a 32-bit operating system, all you're accessing is 4 gigs. That's it, unless you go 64-bit. So that's why we always want you to have 64-bit, because you're going to get the maximum throughput that your hardware can actually support, and that's really important. So to answer this question, I can't give you a simple yes or a simple no. Well, why is that? It's because it's complicated. If you actually upgrade to Windows, let's say 10, and you have decided to do this within, I'm going to say, 26 days, 29 days, but before 30 days, not 31 days, not 32 days, it could be 20, it could be 10, it could be 5. And there's one other thing you have to do. You have to not have run any of the Microsoft disk cleanup utilities. Or if you're an advanced user, like some of the people I know out there may be, you have decided to not delete the Windows.old folder because, hey, I don't need the Windows.old folder because I'm using Windows 10 and I don't need that and I want to clear up my hard drive. Yeah, you're real smart. No, seriously. I understand you want to get rid of the extra space, but you can't. So if you have actually done the things that I have told you and not uninstall Windows.old file, you haven't run the Windows Mate utility, or you haven't scheduled it to run earlier than it's supposed to, which I don't know why you would do that, but some people do. If you have not done those things, I've got some very good news for you. You actually can roll back to Windows quite easily. Unfortunately, you came into the office and you've got Windows 10 on your computer. However, it hasn't been 30 days, you haven't run the Microsoft cleanup utility, you still have your Windows.old file, and it's very easy to actually roll back the installation. Here's all you need to do. Just take your mouse and click on the very bottom where the little start orb is. It's not actually called start anymore. And you can just type right there, and you can type go back. If that's a little bit challenging or it's a little hard to get the mouse to go there and type where you want it to be, then all you need to do is just go to your settings, update security, and recovery. And if the option is available, all you need to do is choose the go back to. You'll see your prior operating system, Windows 7, Windows 8, etc. Follow the instructions exactly. If your computer is eligible, you will see this. If you don't see this, we'll learn a little later how you unfortunately need to recover your computer. But congratulations, you were in the 30 days, so you're going to be able to recover your computer operating system really easily, a lot easier than many other people, unfortunately. So that's a good thing that you actually did what I told you. Now, if you're one of the unfortunate people that decided they're going to just clean up their hard drive in day 7, or they're like, there's no way I'm going back to Windows 7. Windows 10 is better, and I'm sticking with it, and too bad. Well, I feel sorry for you because I don't really have good news for you. You see, if you actually delete the Windows.old file or you run the Windows cleanup utility, it actually deletes the Windows.old file. And guess what's in the Windows.old file? Actually, the file is needed to be able to bring back the operating system to where you were, which was a Windows 8 or Windows 7 or wherever you were. Okay, that's what basically happened. What do? Well, you need to find that Windows OEM disk, original equipment manufacturer disk, and I hope you have a little bit of time on your hands. You may want to, boil some coffee or make some dinner or something, or do something that's going to take a lot of time because you're going to be busy for a few hours. If you have the disk, great. If you don't have the disk, well, you're going to need to contact a company like us, or you're going to need to contact the vendor or the manufacturer of your computer and ask them for this disk. Because I'm sure you actually didn't make the recovery disk, which they normally ask you to make when you got your computer, and now you're going to pay the $49 or $59. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. You're going to have to do that. Whether you have a Dell or whatever name you have, it doesn't really matter. You're going to have to pay that money, and you're going to get a disk. Now, the important thing you have to understand is that you better, and I mean this, you better have that Windows Certificate of Authenticity sticker. I hope you didn't peel it off. And I hope this copy of Windows is actually legitimate, because if it's not legitimate, I don't even want to talk to you, because you guys know how I feel about legitimacy and how I feel about piracy. That's a whole other story. Everything has to be licensed with Microsoft. But if you don't have that sticker, you are not going to be able to reinstall your Windows. And you're going to be paying yourself a nice $199 to $200 to find one of those disks. Now, the other thing you can do is you can go to Microsoft's website and you can actually get a disk. However, if you have one of these proprietary computers that you got for under $800, I can tell you that you're not going to easily install it with the Windows ISO that you can download from Microsoft's website, which, by the way, did I mention you need the COA for? And if you don't, you're not even going to be able to get to the site where you can download it. So the moral of the story is, if you don't have a pretty high-end computer, you're going to be spending a lot of time, so just spend the $49 or $59. Don't be a cheapskate. You should have made the discs when you got the computer. Let's be honest, right? You didn't do it, so what are you going to do? But the thing I want to tell you is that once you do get that disk, you're now going to have to reboot your computer, yes, and you're going to have to choose to boot from the CD-ROM, and you're going to have to, yes, install Windows whatever, all over from scratch. Yeah, I know many of you are like having heart palpitations, and I feel for you, really, I do. My heart goes out to you. But hey, did I tell you to install Windows 10? No, I'm the one that's telling you to not install Windows 10. So, you need to get a grip, okay? This is what you got to do, and you just got to deal with it. You got to put the disk in, you got to boot up, and once you boot it up, then what's going to happen is you're actually going to choose boot from CD. Once you boot from the CD, the computer is actually going to come up. When it actually comes up, you're going to choose the option, boot from CD, and then you're going to choose to install Windows, whatever Windows you have. And guess what it's going to do? Yeah, I know. It's going to erase your entire computer of all your settings, and you're basically going to start from scratch. So that's the bad news. The other bad news is that it's actually going to take you about 2 or 3 hours, Now, some of these proprietary computers actually have another bundled disk in there, so they load the drivers, but it's still going to take you another hour or two. So plan that you're going to be busy, so cancel all your arrangements. If you have any dates, cancel them. If you had any dinner plans with the family, just tell them you're going to be tied up for the next few holidays. And, you know, you just need to suck it up. I'm sorry. And go through it and install it. And then when you get all done, okay, if some of you have Firefox and stuff like that, well, guess what? You're going to have to download Firefox all over again. You're going to have to install Adobe all over again, the reader, the player, the Air, the Flash. I see some of you. I know you're like giving me these looks. But I'm being honest. And then once you get all that done, you thought we were done, right? No, we're not. You remember those 239 or 50 million updates that you downloaded last week from Windows 7 or Windows? Remember those? Well, you're going to have to re-download all those updates all over again. Yeah, that's another hour, an hour and a half. So what are we at, 2 to 3 hours? So you can choose to do this yourself. You can pay a company like us to do it. We're happy to do it for you. But if you guys know how to do it and you have the time and you can block out your schedule and you have nothing to do for the next 3 to 4 hours, it typically will take a non-professional about a half a day to do this. It'll take a professional about 2 to 3 hours, maybe a little bit less. So that's really what it's about. And the other question comes up all the time is, you know, why did I upgrade to Windows 10? I didn't mean to. This stupid little annoying box came up on the screen, right? And you wanted to be able to just not do it, but somebody else in your family did it, or a friend did it, or a significant other did it, or your wife, your husband, whatever. Somebody did it, right? It doesn't matter. Okay, so let's stop placing the blame. But you want to turn off this utility. Now, Microsoft doesn't tell you how to turn off this utility. Would you like me to tell you how to turn it off? Would you? All right, I'm going to share this with you, but promise me you're not going to tell anybody, okay? All right, we've talked about how easy it is to uninstall Windows 10, but maybe you weren't quite so lucky. You actually waited to go past the 30 days, or maybe you decided to be helpful or unhelpful and run that cleanup utility in Windows 10 and purged all those. Now, if that icon actually wasn't there, the Get Windows X10 icon, maybe some of us wouldn't even be able to click on it, and then we wouldn't actually worry about upgrading to Windows 10, and we wouldn't even have this problem, right? So why don't we just turn off that stupid icon? It's really simple. All you have to do is take your mouse and left-click on the upper arrow in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Next, click on the Customize, then locate GWX, select the Hide Icon and Notifications option, and click OK. It's that simple. And now no one will have to click on that icon unless they actually go into it, and no one's going to do that, right? So you saved yourself, your office, and your family a lot of aggravation by turning off this annoying upgrade to Windows 10. So does that make sense? I mean, that was really pretty easy, right? So if you guys would have actually followed those steps, or if somebody would have actually been nice enough to tell you those things, wouldn't that have been great? Do you know something we do at JMOR? One of the first things we do when we go into a client is we ask them, would you like us to turn off that annoying upgrade icon in the bottom right-hand corner? And it's free of charge. We'll do it for you free of charge. I send people an email telling people how to turn it off. We don't want to annoy our clients. We don't want to annoy prospective clients. So, you know, why doesn't Microsoft actually tell us how to do that? Yeah, now they finally published something to tell you how to do it, but why didn't they tell us months ago? I don't know. I just can't. I can't understand the logic to how companies do things sometimes, but everybody will do what they want to do. So we got a way to turn it off. That's really easy. It's quick and dirty. You don't have to do too much, and it's just one of those things that I think you. Like I said to you, you're not going to tell anybody, right? I asked you to keep this a secret, so you're going to keep this a secret, right? Because I don't want this to get out. I mean, you know. Yeah, all right. Well, I know I can trust you. I know you'll keep it a secret. So this is what it's about. I mean, it's about these little tricks, and this is more what JMOR Tech Talk is going to be about as we evolve throughout the months and the years to come. We're going to give you little tips, and tricks that you can actually apply right now. You don't have to be a rocket science. You don't have to be a chemist. You don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to be a sports enthusiast. You don't have to be a Hunter Mountain professional skier. Yes, I know many of you guys are professional skiers. I'm actually an intermediate skier, but many of you are professional skiers, but some of them aren't, okay? So let's give the guys here some slack that they may not be pro skiers. So I'm just trying to give somebody some comfortability that you don't have to know how to fix your car. I mean, I barely know where they put the oil in the car. I know that you pop a tank open and something comes out, and then you got to put the gas thing. And I remember just a year ago when I had to go to Connecticut and I had to have the car filled, and I'm like, somebody going to help me? Like, it's self-service. I'm like, self-service. So what does that mean? Well, it means you have to get out and do it yourself. So I go and I put my credit card in, and I push the stuff in. I said, okay, I'm all ready. And they're like, oh, you have to put the nozzle in the car yourself. I'm like, I got to put the nozzle in the car? And now I'm an engineer, and I'm like, well, and I feel like an idiot. I'm like, well, how do you do that? And I don't know if it was a how do you do that, or I was like, what do I do? You undo a cap, and, you press that little button, and then the thing opens. But I put the thing in, and then, I don't know, it didn't start filling for me. The card was approved. You had to hit some other button. I hit something. It didn't come out. And then you had to clamp something so the gas came out. All right, I don't know these things. All right, I'm sorry. I'm an engineer, so what I'm trying to point out to you people is that we're going to make this show fun. We're going to make it interesting. I invite many of you to call in over many of these different times. We want to have shows that is geared to what you're looking for. You can also drop by many times our website, JMOR.com. You can send us a message in the radio section here, which our team reads all the time, and we want to gear shows that are going to be what the public wants. Our shows are going to do things like also unveil the latest and greatest. Who knows? We may even get into video someday. But right now, we'll be happy to do unboxing of the latest. I mean, we'll make the little sounds. You can hear the pops and the crackles, and I'll tell you whether a product is a piece of whatever or the product is like the Rolls Royce, right? I'll tell you those things. All right, and whether I get a free product from XYZ company or I have to pay for a product, I'm still going to tell you what they think. I'm sorry, vendors. I'm going to be honest. I want to be honest to my listeners, and that's just the way it is. And it looks like I'm getting a tap on the shoulder here from our controller, and it looks like we're just about time for another commercial. So I guess I better do that, or they might throw me out of this chair. So let's hear from a very important word from our sponsor.
Have data that needs to be destroyed? Don't take a chance. Let the experts at the JMOR Connection completely destroy and eliminate your data. For over 15 years, JMOR has been helping companies all over New Jersey with data security, destruction, and IT needs. Call 877-767-5667. JMOR meets federally mandated data disposal policies. Call 877-767-5667 now.
Okay. Well, it's very important. When we talk about data destruction, I can't tell you, when I first learned about it many years ago, it's not just taking a hard drive, and we don't actually just take that hard drive and then, let's say, throw it in the garbage. No. There are federal policies that we actually have to comply with to be able to do data destruction. And although JMOR actually does not own its own Class D facility, we do license one and we do business with several, and we are actually on premise when it takes place. So let me tell you about what happens in a typical data destruction with us. So a hard drive comes from point A. It could be a doctor's office, could be someone's home, but it has very valuable data on there. It could be credit card information. It could be Social Security information. It could be some very important information that if it got out to the wrong people in the wrong hands, it could possibly cause some identity problems, right? And so we got to make sure that data is safe for what we call cradle to grave. So what we do is we actually pick up your drives. We tag them. We lock them up. Once we take your drives and we lock them up, they get inventoried, they get put into our system. A scheduled date for destruction happens. We actually use special software that actually will destroy the drive and destroy the data on the drive. Now, for most people, this is very secure. But again, we are security fanatics. So here's what we do. After the drive has gone through the secure rewrites, okay, and these are algorithms that actually the federal government has actually approved. We actually meet and exceed several of them, including things like the Peter Goldman algorithm, which takes a very, very long time, but we actually use that one. And what it basically does is it writes a lot of zeros and ones to the hard drives, and it does this in a very long pattern, in a very redundant way to make sure the data is destroyed. So that would probably save most people. But the data could come back. It's not likely, but it could come back after many, many hours of work. It is highly improbable that it could. But after I've just told you that process, we now take the drives. They're logged. They're scheduled for destruction, usually 3 or 4 times a year. We will take it to one of the Class D facilities that we do business with. We will meet the Class D facility operator. One of our employees will actually meet with them. They'll be signed in. They'll verify all the information. We will go into a special area that is locked. It's under video surveillance 24 hours a day. We will go in there with the destruction manager from the facility. We'll go behind some metal gates. They will lock them behind us. We will actually go into the destruction room. We'll take apart the drives. We'll take about any of the parts of the drives that actually would be, let's say, non-recycle friendly. So we're going to put them into different containers so that different kinds of components can be recycled properly. That's basically what we do. And then after that happens, the hard drives actually go onto a conveyor belt. Yes, they go onto a conveyor belt. And all of the electric circuit boards actually go to a separate part. So they're not even part of the hard drive destruction. They go into a whole recycling facility that's actually, again, approved by the federal government. They have a very strict policy on this. Then what happens is this. The hard drives will go through a conveyor belt. Now, I can't actually tell you how the data gets sorted and how the drive gets damaged because that's kind of proprietary information. What I can tell you is that the drive gets pulverized. In less than, I'm going to say, 5 seconds, you hear a chunk and the whole drive goes through a multitude of proprietary processes that do the appropriate things for destruction and get the pieces in the right bins. But not only that, that drive, when it comes out, is shredded into pieces. Now, you might think that's great and we're all done, right? Well, most people would be done. We're not. For a higher level of security, we actually take those components and we boil them. Yeah, we boil them. And once they're boiled, I'm sorry, but there's no way the data's coming back. I mean, we talked about the hard drive. The fact that we go from a hand to a lock to a box to the hard drive software destruction. Then we do the physical destruction. Then we boil it. I mean, is there any way that data's come back? Not in my lifetime and not in anybody's lifetime. I can guarantee you that. And not only that, we do one more thing. You can pay us to have destruction, which everything is done by witness. So one of our staff will always witness destruction. That is a given. But we also can do certificates to make sure that your serial number, your date, your time, and your batch was destroyed, and we give you a copy of that, and we can give you a piece of your batch of destruction as a little souvenir. Now, that's great, right? We can also give you a video proving that the data was destroyed. So this is more important for medical facilities, but I just want to let you know because the importance of data destruction is so important. We're talking about credit cards. We're talking about hard drives. We're talking about floppy disks. I mean, how many of you at home own a shredder? I mean, I have one. You probably have one. Your office, I know, has one. But do you guys know the difference between, a shredder that just shreds and a shredder that can do things like crosscut? Well, there are some shredders that actually can shred in lines. And when they shred, you have nothing but a bunch of macaroni stripes. It's almost like taking a scissor. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. You got a piece of paper there, Gloria? Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, these people, I tell you, they're tired tonight. And I got a great staff here tonight. They're doing a great job. I mean, I'm sure they'd like to be home. But I got to tell you, I got a great team here tonight. And I understand they're going to be with us for a long time. So we got a real good team here. So anyway, I would take this, I take the scissor, and I would cut, okay? not easy to do this with two hands. Well, I have the headset on, but. And basically what I have is a bunch of strips. Now, any person could take those strips and put them back together and figure out your credit card, your personal information, right? So in my eyes, that's not shredding. That's an exercise of futility. And what we actually tell people to do is don't buy a shredder like that. Buy a crosscut shredder, okay? So you take these pieces of paper. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to get that in your hair. All right, so we take another piece. And we cut it. All right? Take my word for it, I'm cutting it. So not only do we cut it one way, but then we go and cut it another way. All right? So that's probably hard to put back together, right? But that's still not great because most people that want to steal your identity are actually going to take this piece of paper and they're going to spend their life. I mean, they don't have a life. I'm sorry. People that are trying to steal your identity, they don't have a life. I'm sorry. And they're going to play this little puzzle game to put it back together. I mean, that's what they're going to do. And they're going to spend days, and they're going to get your credit card number. Okay. So by getting a cross-cut shredder, one that does a high level of cross-cutting, and you're going to spend $400, $500, but what it's going to do, it's going to do cross-cut micro-cut. So now what it's going to do is it's going to take, it's like a scissor, and these are razor-sharp surgical blades that are in there, and it's going to cut them very, very fine into very fine micro stripes, right? And that's great. That would be really fine shredding. So if you have a micro strip cutter, that's great. But you have to make sure you get a micro strip cross cutter. Then what's going to happen is you're going to be able to take each piece and go bing, 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 and I don't know who you are, but you're not going to be able to put back spaghetti that's in 1 million pieces. You probably could put spaghetti back that's in 50 pieces, 100 pieces, or 200 pieces, 500 pieces, heck, 1,000 pieces. But are you going to be able to put back the spaghetti that's in 1 million pieces for just 1 little inch? I don't think so. I don't think so. So what I want to let you know is that the structure is important, but you have to make sure that when you get things in the mail, and the thing about our show, it's live, so we never really know where we're going to go with things, and especially with callers and ideas and these people running in and out of the office and making all kinds of jokes here, which you guys can't see. And, it's really interesting because, you get mail every day, right? And how many of you get mail, and you actually take that mail, and, you have 3 piles. You have the pile that I'm going to read now, you have the pile that I'm going to file, and the pile that I'm going to trash, right? The first thing you should be doing before you even do that is you should look at anything that has your name on it, anything that you don't want. And don't just trash it. Shred it. And cross-shred it. Make sure you micro-cross-shred anything that has your name on it, your social security number, your address, anything that you don't want getting into the wrong hands. So personal information is defined to me as something you don't want to share with a stranger. If you met somebody a minute or 2 minutes ago, you wouldn't be giving me your whole entire life history, right? I don't think so. Well, you might, but I'm not here to judge. I just want to let you know that if you got something like that, shred it. Do you know that you'll actually cut the probability of somebody actually frauding you by over 50% just by buying a shredder, okay? But buying a cross shredder micro-cut is great. If you can't afford a micro-cut, then go get a regular shredder and then take a scissor and go through and just dice it. I mean, yes, you can get a shredder for $100, $200, but I mean, if we take the numbers, right, and we do the numbers, it's not hard. I mean, you take a shredder that, let's say a nice shredder might cost about $499, right? So $499, if we take that and we divide that basically among 12 months, right, that comes out to be $41.66, okay? So $41.66 might seem like a lot of money to pay for this per month. I hear you. But if you were to divide that number into 30 days, you're looking at $1.38, less than what you're going to pay for at any of these coffee places that I'm not getting paid here to advertise. I know you want me to say coffee houses. I'm not going to do that. But, any of these places you go into, for less than a cup of a coffee, you can actually protect yourself. I mean, why wouldn't you? I don't understand this. I mean, maybe, as smart as I am, I just don't understand why people do things. But, that's psychology. That's a whole other different show, or that's Dr. Phil. But, it still just amazes me. You tell somebody, don't attachment if you don't know the person. And what do? They download the file. They open the attachment. Didn't we just say, oh, yeah, you're right. And then they complain that an IT company's there for a few hours trying to solve the problem. It boggles my mind. It just boggles my mind. I don't know where to go with everything, what's going to happen. It's just so crazy. And I don't know what challenges you're having, but I can tell you that your identity, okay, next to your health is probably the most important thing, okay? We have to have our health, and we have to have our identity. If you don't have your identity, other people can actually pretend to be you and actually cause you a lot of trouble and a lot of problems. And actually that can take between $1 to $2 million to actually reverse an identity theft problem. Did you know that? And Greg's actually tapped me on the shoulder, and it looks like it's time for another sponsor. And I'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere.
Are you having challenges with your servers crashing? Having issues with large file transfers? Is your system always getting attacked by viruses and spyware? Or are your workstations always slow? JMOR is the solution. JMOR has nearly 20 years of experience helping small businesses to large corporations manage their technology. At JMOR, we specialize in engineering technology to grow your business. Watch out for those promising you support for a low price. When troubles arise, you want the expertise of the JMOR connection behind you to run your business while you get a good night's sleep. Visit us on the web today at jmor.com.
All right. So, many are having challenges with servers. You're having issues with large file transfers. And, you're always having these issues with viruses and spyware. Your workstations are slow. And I know, I've been in technology for a while. Many of you know I'm actually the CEO of JMOR. And I try not to make a show salesy. But what I want you to understand is this. Everybody's entitled to make their money. Technology companies, it's always about who can get in there the cheapest, the fastest, and get out. But wouldn't you rather have a company that actually can get in and out of there, know what's going on, pay them a little more money, they be trustworthy, reliable, okay, and they actually solve your problems? I mean, I'm not going to start naming company names here because I don't like to do that. I don't want to bash anybody. But do you know there was a very, very big company that had a very big scandal not too long ago? And do you know, and I was actually consulted on this, that the actual attack came from somebody inside the company that helped somebody on the outside get in. Again, I'm not going to give you all the details about it, but this is what I'm trying to explain to you, is that it starts with the people and the practices. But here's the most important thing. You want to get a real kicker, and this will make you laugh. Don't choke, please. They actually hired the company based on their reputation of the most popularity in advertising. So do you go hire a company that has the best popularity for the most commercials on TV, the best web presence, or do you actually hire a company that does good business and you've had good representation with them? You know they do business for other people. If they actually would have been smart and not thinking so much with the image and the ego that, we don't want this company to deal with us because, we're XYZ and, we need to be with a, 5-star type company. Let's let our egos go for a while. I mean, I could do a whole show on egos, but, let's let the egos go. If somebody knows how to fix technology, even if they're a few bucks more, they're not a $10 billion company and they know what they're doing, who do you choose? I know who I choose. When it comes to fixing my car, do I go to always the dealer all the time? I'll be honest, I don't go to the dealer all the time. I sometimes think the dealer charges me too much money. I told you I'm not a car buff, but I kind of know when I'm getting ripped off. And I think loyalty has a lot to be said here. But my point is that if they would have went with somebody like us or a similar company, one of the first things we do? We do a security scan. We do a threat assessment before we even do a thing. Do you know we even come in and do a complimentary evaluation before we even start just to get the preliminary information? So why are you dealing with a company that's so large and they, plain English, I'm not going to use the words here, they mucked up, okay? And the government has actually even agreed with my statement that it came from internally. I was actually quoted on a couple of places. Actually, one place that actually quoted my information a while back was Voice of America, who is one of the views on technology. And, it's not just about that. It's about the fact that, you have to be smart in business, and I know you have to save money. But I think it's more about knowing what a company can do and can't do for you. In many other shows, I'm going to talk about different vendors, and some I'm not even going to name. But one of the things I want to tell you is that the thing I like a lot about our company is that it's not about which vendor we're choosing to do business with to help you. Sometimes we're writing solutions from scratch. Do you want a solution that's on the front page of the Wall Street Journal or any other magazine for that matter? Or do you want a solution that's proven tested? I mean, we have a philosophy at our own company, and people think we're crazy. Do you know we will not recommend a solution to anybody unless the solution has been tested for 3 to 6 months in house and it's had no problems? Okay? There are so many vendors, they call us every day and say, you can make all this money if you just push. Why should I put our good name on the line? That's the thing that people have to understand. It's the good name. We want to do the right thing. But just saying we're doing the right thing is not enough. You've actually got to experience it. And I know. But technology, let's face it, a lot of people say technology is not rocket science. Now, I don't want to cause an argument with that. You have to know what you're doing with technology. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to screw it up. I will say that, and I can agree with that. One of the things I like to do, and Greg's actually laughing at me here, and it's like when we talk about technology, it's about the fact that you need to understand and communicate at everybody's level. If I'm an engineer, you're a sports fanatic, you're a senior financial analyst, okay, and you're a business manager, I need to respectfully take all the information and disseminate it between all of you, okay? Or talk from the CEO, the boss, down to the communication level of, let's say, the management on the floor, and then to the workers. And do this in a way that's non-condescending. That's the whole key. I think a lot of people, I know when I was in college, they used to hate tech people, and I know why. It's because everybody always said, well, gee, they're better than us. And, we're not better than anybody. We have a little bit of knowledge, and we know what we're doing. I love to read magazines. I love to read what's going on, but we're not better than anybody else. We know what we're doing. We spend a lot of hours. Is Michael Jordan better than anybody else? No, he's not. He put a lot of hours into playing basketball. So what do? We put a lot of hours into doing technology. I mean, our company does this. We've been doing it for over 20-some years. We engineer technology to grow your business. And that's what we do because that's our passion. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand, I can tell you that half of our company loves to do what they do because not only do they like their job, but they like the paycheck. Now, there's another part of the company that loves to get the paycheck, and I'm not going to tell you they're bad at what they do, but they don't have that passion. I mean, when I come home and do different things, I love to work with technology. When I talk to other people beside the people here that are in our sound studio here tonight, I don't think I could get a lot of my staff to want to come and join us on the show unless I pay them. I mean, that's sad. I can't tell you to be passionate about technology. I can't tell you guys to be passionate about skiing, right? I can't tell you to be passionate about finances. I can't tell you to be passionate about anything. All I can do is tell you to choose to be the way you want to be. And when you find what you want to be, you'll never work a day in your life. I think that's why I like technology so much. I find it so invigorating to understand what's going on, how to get behind things. I mean, when I was 6 years old, I was taking things apart. I was probably the only kid that took apart FAO Schwartz remote control cars. I think my parents wanted to kill me. At the time, they were like $200 for FAO Schwartz cars. Now you're talking $30 for a remote control car. I take things apart, and I'd like to take the motor apart, see if I can make it go faster. I decided that when I was only maybe about 8, I decided that I was going to explore the principles of electricity. Well, I did, only I did it with batteries. And my grandfather, rest his soul right now, he basically said, John, you can do anything you want to do, and I'll even help you, and I'll give you the money. So on half days at school, when I went to school, he'd actually take me and buy wire, bell wire. We would buy me the batteries, which would be like these 14-volt, 24-volt, and I would get such a kick out of making these lights light up with knife switches. It was just so amazing. I mean, I probably had one of the first doorbells that actually worked off of a 24-volt or 14-volt or 6-volt battery. Then I decided that I wanted to have a doorbell that actually had a light, because I tried to make things just like they were in the house, but the 6-volt battery wasn't quite enough to make the light work, so I had to upgrade to a 12-volt battery. I even had a motor, and there's lots of things I did, but the reason I put this to you is that it's about passion, and that's why we do what we do, and I hope that not only are you getting information out of these shows, but you can see that we really are passionate about what we're doing. Again, I'm very thankful to have the staff that I have here tonight with me and every Monday night. And, God willing, we'll be here every Monday for you. You can always go back and you can always listen to other episodes. And, anytime that you have a question, you can always give us a call. We're always here to help you out. And if we can do something for you, we're happy to help you. But if we can't do something for you, I'll be the first to tell you that we can't do something for you. I don't think I've ever told somebody that. But I got to be honest and tell you that if we can't, I will tell you that we can't, all right? If you ask me to move a mountain, I probably will tell you that we can't do that for you. So we're almost at the end of our show. I don't know where the time is gone, Greg, Mary, I don't know where it's gone. I know you're all drinking a cup of coffee. And it's just about time to end our show. I have had such a blast. I hope you tell all your friends to join us. Next week, you can call us in live up to 15 minutes before the show at 646-787-1582. If you need to speak to JMOR, you can do that directly 24 hours a day by calling us at 800-208-5155. And I'm getting the cutout, and it looks like it's about time to end our show. Again, I appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. This has been a great show. From all of us at the JMOR Connection Incorporated, we'd like to thank you for listening tonight and invite you to join us again next Monday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to tell your friends and associates about the JMOR Radio Show and call in live. Be sure to call us early next time so you can get on air too. The JMOR Connection. We're engineering technology to grow your business, and you can chat with us right now at jmor.com or call us at 800-208-5155. Thanks so much for stopping by, and have a great night.